Hey everybody, welcome back. That's right, back to At Home Macon. Today we're actually in Perry, Georgia, and it's a different type of episode. We're sitting down with Evan at Acres and Oak, formerly the Casserole Shop. They went through a brand new rebranding, so we're celebrating them, talk about their new transition that we're going through. All the things that are brand new things that are launched. It's a great episode. Sit back, relax, and watch this episode of At Home Macon with Evan. Enjoy.
But they do little food, pastry things and stuff. But great people. There's another company downtown called Perfect Hair Catering.
Okay.
They're also a storefront.
Okay.
Phenomenal. But there's a place coming downtown. It's called Orleans.
Orleans?
It's
Vacation food kind of stuff?
I think so. Is it gonna be Cajun?
Oh.
I heard it's gonna be a pretty expensive, high-end plate kind of a cost.
I love some Cajun food.
Yeah, and it's backed by two or three families, and very well off to the point that I think it's gonna be pretty legit. Yeah, they can do it. But yeah, I mean, so food truck, they do food truck Fridays down here, which is huge. Perry has the ability to shut down roads that like other, Macon does it, right? But Perry can do it so much easier, right? One, there's not so many people down here. House and County, this is the only downtown community, so whereas everybody in Bibb County is moving north, it feels like, everybody in House and County is moving south.
Interesting.
So everybody's gonna be in Perry, I'm confident in it, eventually. So Perry Parkway is being developed, then it's going to be downtown, and then shortly after this, I see everybody moving in this direction, like Fairgrounds area. Fantastic. Developed around it, so yeah. That's
pretty cool.
Yeah.
Well, Carter's been rolling for like 5-ish minutes now, so if you want to look at the camera, introduce yourself, introduce the company, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. So Evan Acres, owner of what is now Acres and Oak Kitchen, originally the Casserole Shop.
Awesome, well, thank you so much for having us tonight.
Honored.
It's a pretty rainy night, so I'm glad we can meet you this late.
Yeah, we can actually be inside versus all the pouring drizzle outside. So
absolutely, man. So this episode is a little different from the episodes that we usually do because this is more of a celebratory episode, I like to say.
Okay.
Because, I mean, many people would know the Casserole Shop been in Macon for a very long time. But y'all just started yesterday on this brand new rebrand.
That's right, officially
Acres and Oak.
That's right.
Plural, Acres and Oak.
That's right.
And that's what we're here to talk about. So
cool.
For the people that aren't familiar with kind of where we're at so far, we started with the Casserole Shop, and now we just transitioned into Acres and Oak. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. So our vision all along is with any location, we now have two locations, of course, the original being in Macon.
Forsyth Road.
Yeah, Forsyth Road, yep. And the shopping center there between Miramar and Circa. Two phenomenal restaurant businesses as well, very well known in Macon. And we have been there for, we've been on Forsyth Road since 2001. The business originated in 93, then developed into a storefront in 97, eventually leading into the move in 2001 to Forsyth. So yeah, really cool.
That's incredible. So before we deep dive into the kind of the history of Casserole Shop and where y'all started, you bought the company from your mother in 2019 and going through this rebrand. What was the idea for the rebrand? Because Casserole Shop, most people know as, I mean, you go get casserole, someone dies at your church, X, Y, and Z, you bring a casserole home, but you are bringing on this whole new idea and imagery and brand to the Casserole Shop, or now Acres and Oaks. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, so we care about service. More than anything, I am a husband to a wonderful woman, to which we have 5 kids.
Wow.
So jokingly, I always tell people that we own a food business and we got into the casserole business because we had to be able to feed our kids.
Absolutely.
But more than anything, we care about service. And when we bought the business in 2019 from my mother, who ran the business for well over 9 years and created what Macon now loves as the Casserole Shop, we wanted to transition because we knew we do so much more than casseroles. We've done for many years lasagnas and fettuccine and so many other items and salads and drinks and cinnamon rolls, and we have a full bakery in Macon. So why Casserole Shop? Nobody goes to the Casserole Shop to get baked goods, right?
Kind of a limiting title.
Yeah, based upon the title. But for Macon nights, everybody knew the Casserole Shop had donuts and pedophores and so many other amazing things. But so when we bought the business, we knew we wanted to expand, but more than anything, we knew that eventually we needed to change the name. And in the process of changing the name, what do we change it to?
Exactly.
And Acres is my last name, which of course means a lot to myself and to my family. But secondly, Oak. people are always like, so who's the oak?
Exactly.
But more than anything, the oak is the table. And so family, acres represents family, oak represents the table. So together it's the family table concept.
Exactly.
Because we want to get people back around the dinner table. And it's not simply about the family in which you would call blood, but it's about creating family. It's about having an open seat at your dinner table so you can welcome somebody in and you can serve somebody else, whether it's your neighbor or somebody you just know that is in need. That's our whole vision, is that you create family.
Wow.
So, yeah.
That's absolutely incredible. So the mission, I want to know, we kind of talked to it just then, but we were talking earlier, the mission of Acres and Oaks. What is it?
Absolutely. If we were to boil it all the way down to one word, it's service. We believe that we have no numbers to quantify or to look at this and say this is the percentage of people that do this.
Exactly.
But we know within our business, the majority of people that buy from us aren't actually putting it at their own table. They're actually taking it to put it on somebody else's table.
Interesting.
Because when somebody comes in, whether it be through the avenues of mail trains that go on with the churches, or just in general, you find out somebody's in need. Maybe it's to help celebrate with somebody, but maybe it's also to help support somebody in a hard time. Somebody passes away, somebody loses a family member in general, somebody, maybe there's birth, maybe it is celebration, maybe it's to celebrate a birthday, maybe it's to celebrate another exciting time, somebody after, I don't know, a sporting event celebration. So many people come to us to be able to provide to somebody else, to stock somebody's refrigerator, freezer, bring something to a Super Bowl gathering or a birthday party, whatever it may be. Really cool opportunities.
That's absolutely incredible. So I do want to make the connection, be really distinct about the connection between Casserole Shop and now Acres and Oaks. Absolutely incredible. So for those who are unfamiliar with the history of the Casserole Shop, let's start there. So your mom bought it in 2001?
Yeah, so she bought it in 2010
okay.
From a phenomenal family.
Okay.
So even going even further back, started in 93, like I said earlier,
exactly.
It started as a catering service, evolved into a storefront. From there, transitioned to the purchase in 2010 by my mother. And her vision was to add a bakery in association to that business. Her and her spouse at the time did a phenomenal job in creating what Macon has come to love in the business of the Casserole Shop, as we all grew up and knew. Many of us grew up eating the donuts in the morning, the apple fritters, things like that. We have evolved, and we, to the point of opening that bakery a couple years later after she purchased it, and also acquiring another business called Carolina's Cakes, which is what people love about our caramel cake. Come fourth quarter of the year, November, December for Thanksgiving and Christmas. This is at the majority of people's table. Oh, phenomenal. Between that and the poppy seed chicken casserole, there is no question. That's what's on a lot of people's dinner tables. You grew up, you know about it, right? Yeah. So,
you're responsible for about 18 pounds.
Yeah. Oh, bro, I bought the business and like this appeared.
Right?
Yeah. So cool things. But yeah, so we, so we bought it in 2019 from Tanya. She was ready to step away. Tanya being my mother, she was ready to step away from the business and focus on doing something else for herself. And so we bought it out. 100%, we're the 100% owner in 2019 in July, and instantly, shortly thereafter, March of 2020, we opened up a second location here in Perry, Georgia, to which is kind of funny because it was like I was even here doing like the grand opening, saying a prayer, saying, God, please, I hope nobody in this room gets COVID, jokingly saying that. And because like, in that moment, we didn't think COVID was really a thing. A week later, everything started shutting down. So it was like, but God provided through that season where this store did phenomenally well in light of what was going on with COVID, because our product provides people that don't want to go to restaurants, that don't want to get out. You can call us, we'll even put it in your car in the parking lot. Pay over the phone and you're done. So you don't have to have any interaction if you don't want it. Though we want interaction, though we want you to come into our store and have a conversation with us, and we want to be able to serve you well. So.
Absolutely, I think that's absolutely incredible. Almost to the sense where when COVID shut everything down, the lack of interaction was almost driving people insane, to say something. So have a sense of normalcy of having a to-go meal put in their cars is a sense of normalcy that people were missing. So
absolutely, yeah. I mean, we partnered with the hospital here in Houston County in Perry, and then we also partnered with Navicent, or what used to be Navicent, whatever going on now.
Can't keep up.
Yeah, that's right. But so we actually partnered with those 2 hospitals to where if anybody in the community came and purchased 3 casseroles, we would then donate one as the business back to those on the front line that were in the supporting COVID and things like that, and serving our communities well. And so we were able to give over 20 grand worth of casseroles away. And that, once again, let's bounce back. That has nothing to do simply just with us.
Yeah.
That has to do with the community that came around and saw an effort. One, I need to get food, but I can go through this business to which then will donate one. And so, man, God not only served us very well or blessed us in that process, but we were able to then replicate that and serve other people too. So it was a blessing.
That's absolutely incredible. Yeah. One thing I do want to talk about a little bit is stepping away from business is actually you. Cool. So you stepped into the role in 2019. Do you mind talking about a little bit where you were before that and then coming into this? Yeah,
absolutely. I think, so I think a lot of people come in and ask me food questions and I kind of like grin a little bit. That is not me.
You're not a chef by trade?
Yeah, no, absolutely not. To clarify, the same individual, his name is Patrick Jackson. He's actually my brother-in-law. Crazy enough, and actually works very well. We actually work very well together, which I had some fears coming in, but he's an amazing guy. And so he married my little sister, so I had a little bit of, like, how's this gonna work out kind of thing. But he's an amazing chef, but he's been the same chef that's been with us for a long time. So when people think of change of ownership or change of name, they think, okay, well, maybe there's change of food. Not truly.
Because that can be a big fear there. If a restaurant changing hands, change the mansion, if you are worried that the food's not gonna be the same. That's simply just not the case.
Yeah, not the case at all. So bouncing back to your original question, I apologize to get sidetracked.
No, I love it.
So about me, the goal, of course, is to always focus on the business and what got through the business. But for my wife and I, we got married. We've been married. July will be 9 years.
Okay.
Like I said, we have.
Congratulations, by the way.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Now, 2 weeks ago, we had our 5th child.
Wow.
So 3 little boys, 7, 6, 4, 1, and now a newborn.
I gotta think about it a little bit.
Busy. So if I'm ever not at the business and you can't get a hold of me, I'm serving my wife and kids.
Wow.
So, but yeah, back to it. So my whole background is ministry. Used to be on staff with a phenomenal church in Perry, Georgia. Now that is in Perry, Georgia. Used to serve the Warner Robins area by the name of Sojourn. Used to be, I believe, an Acts 29 church. Maybe it'd still be an Acts 29 church. Ultimately, it's just kind of the mission and vision of how they try to serve and reach the community. And but yeah, I was on staff with them. Love the Lord. That is ultimately what helps push and drive me through anything and everything that I do. But in the process of being on staff with them, they were making some changes, which then led to an opportunity and presented an opportunity for me in Colorado. So my wife being from Colorado sounded like a phenomenal opportunity for us to get out there, get closer to her family. So we picked up everything with the support.
What year is this?
Oh gosh, so let's say, so I've owned the business nearly 2 years now. Prior to that, I think I was back for about 1.5 years, so 3.5 years ago. So you're talking what, 2018, 2019, right before all that? Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, around that time.
Matt's probably, just a business owner. I should know those things, but so we went out there to church plant, help another church by the name of Orchard, church plant in the Boulder County area. So for those that don't know a ton about Colorado, probably at least know Boulder, Hippieville.
Exactly.
Loved it. Fell in love with that community. We're in the South. We struggle with debating with other churches and the same religion a lot of the time. In Colorado, you were having genuine conversations about afterlife and stuff, because every corner was a different religion. Wow. Altogether, not a different section of Christianity, a different religion. So it was beautiful. Loved our time out there, but as soon as we got out there, the church plant we went out there originally for, ultimately the lead pastor leaves, resigns, goes to another opportunity that presented to him in Ohio. So then I was on staff trying to make things work, and it just wasn't working. Have tons of respect for the leadership of that church, but it just wasn't working out. So we stepped away, prayed about it, and decided to step away. And in the process of us stepping away, dove into the beer world. Wow. Love craft beer. Love the Crescent family. Probably back you guys a lot.
Shout out to
shout out. We'd love to carry some craft beer, but probably craft beer and casseroles just doesn't make a ton of sense. Probably doesn't lead to a lot of success. Absolutely. So I dove into the beer world, and the craft beer scene blew up, and it was just really busy.
Yeah.
I was living not a single man's life in the sense of any ill will towards my wife, but single man in the sense of like it started at 12 and ended at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. That just wasn't.
It's a different business.
Yeah,
you weren't
absolutely.
drinking beer at 9 o'clock in the morning.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's right. And so it turned into my wife and I making a ton of probably the wisest decision and one of the hardest decisions we've ever made to move back to Georgia. And then moving back to Georgia, my mother was trying to sell the business, was looking for a buyer, and honestly, I didn't know, didn't really have any other opportunities. It was clear that God was shutting all the other doors around me, but this one stayed open. And honestly, I was like, casseroles? Like, who eats casseroles in today's world?
Yeah.
And I was like, it's just not something that I feel like is going to be around for forever. And man, was I wrong. Yeah, casseroles, one, are amazing. I'm not saying that because I'm the business owner, but because who doesn't want to just pick up something, take it home, and still get around the dinner table? I mean, we're already doing that with fast food stuff. Why not do that with something that's so much better for you, one, or even just something that's a true, genuine home-style meal? We've transitioned now, instead of calling them casseroles, we're calling them family-style meals. And so, of course, that supports the name change and everything. But I fell in love with the business. I've learned a ton in the process. I am not perfect by any case and point, but we're definitely trying to be and try to serve the Bibb County and the Houston County communities well. To that point, we eventually, a couple months ago, in 2021, created something called Acres of Giving, to which every single month there's a different organization that will receive 1% of all of our profits for that month.
Wow.
So like the very first month, we did, not Macon Outreach, what is the one in downtown area, downtown Macon? We're currently doing the backpack ministry, which is also in Macon. But originally we started with the homeless community in Macon, so we were able to provide a check to a ministry there in Macon, and so that was a huge avenue. We just wrote our second one for February, and praying to do the same thing for another one here in Macon here soon, so in March.
Well,
so really, really cool.
That's absolutely incredible. And one thing I do want to comment on is, I mean, just from the beginning of the show, At Home Macon, we're actually in Perry right now, which is absolutely incredible. I love being here. Casserole Shop, now Acres of Oaks, being such an iconic business in Macon. Let's talk about a little bit why we're sitting down here in Perry right now, because we're sitting in this amazing storefront. Hopefully more to come on the Forsyth Road location. Maybe we'll talk about that a little bit, but let's talk about where we're at right now.
So we are sitting in the Perry location. We're at 1030 Ball Street. The reason when this opportunity originally presented itself to sit down with you phenomenal gentlemen to learn not only about what you guys are doing and how you're serving the community through At Home, but our whole goal and asking for you guys to be here, because this is the business structure of the future. Macon will always be Macon. I think people had a lot of fears when we were talking about rebranding, that we were going to rebrand in such a way that would get rid of what people have fallen in love with in Macon, because Macon has a full bakery, whereas Perry does not, and all future locations will not as well. So Macon will be the Dwarf House to like that of Chick-fil-A. So for those that don't know, the Dwarf House is Chick-fil-A's original location. It looks completely different than all their other Chick-fil-A's. And so our Macon location will remain true to what it's always been and serve the way that it served in Macon for many years. But all future locations, Perry was the first in that. But our prayer is that God would open up other doors for us to be able to open up locations in Lord willing, Henry County, further south of Perry, and then all over Middle Georgia. Not for the sake of simply opening stores, but for the sake of being able to serve other communities well.
Wow, that's absolutely incredible. I know Carter and I were talking about this on the way here. Is that when a business is going through a change like this, a lot of consumers can get worried and scared, absolutely fearful of the change that's happening. So if you obviously even just down to keeping the same recipes to the same business or wherever you are doing, staying the same is absolutely incredible. Seeing your original sales origin. Awesome. But one thing I do want to talk about is, we may have hit on this a little bit before, is the overall mission of Acres and Oaks. Like, what do you want the community to know when they see Acres and Oaks? What do you want the community to think?
We are currently working on something that will be put up in each one of our lobbies. And in that is it's ultimately going to be a framed out sign. It's not going to have a beautiful picture. Ultimately, it's just going to be a script, and that script is going to be along the lines of who can you serve. When people come into our business, it's more about we want to inspire people to serve. Our mission, our why is ultimately service, meaning in the sense of what avenues and what can we provide people to lead them to serve others. If it's simply coming in our store and reading that sign that says, I'm convinced I need to go home and serve, and they don't even use our products, we view that as a success. Now, we are a for-profit business, absolutely. But with my background and what gives me chills and what gets me excited in life is to see people serve. And maybe that comes from my background in ministry, maybe that comes from my deep beliefs of God and my view of what we do and what we're created to do. But ultimately, I guess just pointing back to that same aspect, our mission is to create and provide avenues in which people can serve.
Why do you think that's important?
Because I think human interaction is significant. I think without human interaction, let's say 2020 for instance, right? I think that we've seen a rise in statistics will show that people are now dealing with more depression. People are the marital situations are harder than ever. People are forced to finally know their spouse well, and it's tough. And human interaction can both be a very hard thing and a very great thing. For those that are married, like I said, I've been married for 9 years. Marriage is not easy, but it's worth it. Human interaction is to the same exact point. It is not easy all the time, but it is worth it. I get inspired, I get motivated just by being around people. And I know everybody is not the same way. We talk about A personality and B personality, but I think for the long measure and the long conversation, it's not simply somebody who loves to be energized by people, but we as people were created to interact, to serve, and to love, and to care for each other. And I think what better way to do that than find an avenue to serve on people. So
absolutely, that's absolutely incredible. One thing I did forget to talk about for a little bit, for those who may not be familiar with Acres and Oaks and the previous business that I was, what is Acres and Oaks? What can they expect from it?
Yeah, so we have done a lot of new things. Our goal when people come in here, from that of the old of the Casserole Shop, people are fearful that we're going to change, the recipes are going to change, we're going to do different things. Yes and no. We're going to be the same business you've always loved, but Acres and Oak, when you come into this business, you're going to walk in, you're going to be greeted by one of our phenomenal staff in these really cute little aprons that represent our name. But what we're going to do is we're going to serve you well, and we're going to make sure that you leave with everything that you possibly needed for the dinner table, or just serve and provide somebody else's dinner. And so you can get everything from drinks. We just launched 3 different drinks that we make in-house, sweet tea, unsweet tea, and lemonade, because that's what we just drink in the South.
You're in the South.
That's right. And we got salads, we got dips, everything from chicken salads to pimento cheese to so many other options. We got appetizer options, we got breakfast options, breakfast casserole, cinnamon rolls, we got sides, we got entrees like that of the poppy seed, chicken divan, lasagnas, quiches, all sorts of things. And then not only do we serve it fresh, because everything's made daily, but we also serve and have options that are frozen. A lot of people are leaving, going to the beach homes, or they're looking to take it to somebody else, somewhere else that they have to get on the road and drive a long distance. We provide it frozen as well, if that's what they like. But then majority of our locations, you'll be able to get cake and cheese straws and wafers and brownies and cookies and lemon bars, like all sorts of stuff. Coffee. We actually just partnered with another company here in the Perry area, but we'll be selling it at all of our locations, but they're going to make all of our cinnamon rolls. It's called Morning by Morning Coffee.
Okay.
They have a lot of relationships. We were talking about this earlier offset, but a lot of businesses have a lot of inward connecting in Macon.
It's crazy how the community is like that.
I love it, man, and that's half the reason why I have so much pride and was willing to buy a business in Macon, because Macon is beautiful, man. Macon has so many connections. Like watching all the other videos, we were talking about the Society Garden one you guys did. We talking about the one with Parrish you guys did. Everybody knows everybody.
Exactly.
And not everyone is willing to support everyone, but I find a lot of times when it comes to the small business crowd, a lot of people want to support each other and are in it for the long haul of hey, you need something, just give me a call, I'll hook you up. I've had to do it, they've had to do it. It's just the family of small business seek to serve each other well. So,
I mean, the Middle Georgia community, just in general, for that kind of
absolutely
is absolutely amazing.
Couldn't agree more.
I do want to bring this up that we just did a video with Willow Cottage Weddings, Kelly over there, and they were doing one of their first wedding ceremonies, and they didn't have a venue. Like they were wedding officiants, but they didn't have a venue, so they called Chrissy at Parish on Cherry, and that's where they hosted.
No way, they had a wedding at Parish?
They hosted their first wedding at Parish on Cherry because they had nowhere else to go, which is a whole different story, but it's just a tribute to how amazing the Macon community is. But to get back on Acres and Oaks, what are some of those popular dishes here? Because I know we're talking about third quarter, fourth quarter. We get the caramel cake sitting right here, front and center, and then you also mentioned like a poppy seed chicken something.
Poppy seed chicken casserole.
Hit me with the best dishes.
Yeah. It's on my dinner table every night.
Exactly.
Because why not just bring it home?
Yeah.
Poppy seed chicken casserole, lasagna is phenomenal.
What's the poppy seed? I've never heard of a poppy seed chicken casserole.
Yeah.
What is that like?
So are you familiar with casserole? You got to be.
I'm familiar with casserole.
Okay, cool. All right. So there are still some dishes that you can't, even though we're changing it to family style meals, they were just, you can't change the name casserole. So some of them will remain casseroles because that's what the South knows.
Exactly.
And what we love. But poppy seed chicken, and it's got some special sauce. It's on a bed of rice. It's got phenomenal chicken in there, covered in breadcrumbs and poppy seeds. But that sauce is what changes everything. I'll be making sure you guys leave and go home with some today. So, but poppy seed lasagna, we do a Cajun style one. Every month we do a casserole of the month, and that is different from what is on our typical list. So like last month,
like a newer casserole-ish?
Yeah. So for February we did a jambalaya that was like had shrimp in it, and it did very, very well. But yeah, I mean, so you have that. You have our pimento cheese is rocking. But what's really, really cool is that each location is different. What sells phenomenally well in Macon may not sell exactly the same here in Perry. Now, some of those are just true. Poppy seed doesn't change. Where chicken divan sells great in Macon, in Perry, what sells better is probably like your pot roast and things like that. So we do other avenues. But like on our sides, we do like a buffalo chicken dip. We do a Charleston dip, which you gotta try that. That is, it has become one of my favorites. I could probably eat that by itself.
Wow.
Most of our casseroles, we've changed it up. We just changed our container that our casseroles used to come in. A lot stiffer, a lot better quality of a product that it now sits in. We listened to our customers, and our customers said, hey, you need to get a better product that sits in. So we changed that, a lot sturdier. Especially for those mothers that are pulling them out of the oven. The last thing you want is not a sturdy container. So we changed that up. Obviously, we changed our labeling, our name, so many other things. Some recipes we decided that they needed to be kicked up a little bit. For the most part, the majority of them are the same. Whether it be salt, pepper, spices, whatever it may be, we just found that some of those needed to be differentiated a little bit better. And we listen to our customers, and we seek to do that well. So
that's absolutely incredible. So you try and true to what y'all have been.
Yeah.
What's something that you wish the community knew more about Acres and Oaks? So obviously went through this brand new rebranding. If you could speak directly to the community and say something,
great.
What would it be?
Yeah. I think what I want to know, what I would want the community to know more about our business is that we really do care. And our business has been in existence for nearly 28 years now, which is beautiful and speaks a lot to God's provision. But in saying that, I think that people have the ability to look at small business or even businesses as long as ours has been around and have a belief that, with all the changing of ownership, that it's not a good business, or the structure is like, why does it keep selling, blah, blah, blah. We're only the third owner in 28 years, but our goal is still the same. From the creation as the catering service is sought to serve people well through catering service, we are now 28 years later a business that is still seeking to serve the Macon community and Perry community well through providing phenomenal products that of food. So I think if I could ask for people or see a little bit further, is that the people that we hire, whether it be people that are never seen, the cooks, the staff, the marketing team, whatever it may be, or the people that are out front, is they care so much. We always talk, every Monday we have a leadership meeting, and we sit down and we talk about the great stories, the hardship stories about business in general. But we have people on our team that care about the communities. Perfect example, when we opened up Perry, we opened it before we actually had management in place. But we knew quietly that we wanted to hire somebody who loved Perry well, And so we ended up hiring a lady by the name of Sheree Goodman, who came on, or Roberts is her name. I always think about her maiden name, but she, phenomenal lady. She came in and she has served this community. We are what we are in Perry because of our leadership we put in place.
Sounds like something you're very intentional about.
Yeah, absolutely. And so if God sends us to Henry County or further south from here, wherever it may be, our goal will be the same thing. We want to find somebody who loves that specific community, wherever that location is, and that'll be the person that finds themselves in leadership within our business, because we want somebody who cares about that community, not just somebody we pull from Macon and put them in another community. We want the person who ultimately runs our Macon location. Her name is Nicole Alford. She loves Macon and she's serving them very, very well. And then Caitlin, who is our business developer, Caitlin Cobb, she's amazing. She has a huge part in why Burger Week is what it is in Macon.
Really?
Yeah, so she used to be on the beef board and that was her position. She pretty much created Burger Week to be what it is.
Wow.
And so really, really cool stuff. Yeah, so she did that. She used to work for Dickey Farms. Once again, connections, right?
All over the place.
We knew she was the perfect person. She's probably gonna get embarrassed that I shared this, but like in her interview, she cried. And I don't say that to say like, oh gosh, like, you know, she was it, right?
Yeah.
But we saw emotion. We saw that she cared
Yeah.
about the community of Macon, and we saw that she wanted to be in a position, not for recognition of herself, but she wanted to be in a position that allowed her to feel what she cared about,
Exactly.
and that of serving the community well. Her and her amazing husband, her husband actually now works at a Macon beer company, and he's like taking care of like their like events and stuff downstairs and stuff. So once again, I know y'all did a Macon beer company show, and so yeah, man, it's just people that work within our business care.
Putting the right people in place. And
Absolutely. So that's what I would want community of Macon and Houston County to know as well. People care within our business, and that's why you get the amazing products that you have now for nearly 28 years. So,
absolutely. So I'm sure it may have changed a little bit over the last 20 years, but what's the customer experience like? What's customer experience like walking through the door? So what can a customer expect?
Yeah, so we could be the company that says, hey, we want to get somebody in within 5 minutes, they should be out, because people aren't eating in our establishment.
Exactly.
Our goal is that when somebody comes in this kind of happened because of COVID, but now it is something that we have implemented, whether COVID exists or it doesn't, we're going to continue doing this. When somebody walks in, they shouldn't have to touch anything. Our people and our staff that are on our customer service team also know and have been trained, and we hire specific people for the intention of, hey, how do you interpret people? Like, or would you say that you're a good interpreter of a person? Because there are people who come in our lobby who want no human interaction. They just want to walk around, they want to browse around, they want to tell us what they want, we'll grab it from it, we'll check them out, we'll be done. But there are other people that come in our shop that we can tell want a conversation.
Want to talk.
And we're the type of business, we're here for it.
Yeah.
If you want to have an hour conversation in our lobby and you spend $5,
Fantastic.
great. Because we believe that is service, and that at the end of the day is what we care most about. And so, because we have that. And we have customers that have been shopping with us for those 28 years under the different ownerships. And they'll tell us what they like of the old and what they like of the new, and vice versa. They'll tell us what they don't like about both, and we'll hear them, we'll listen to them, and we'll make corrections where we believe that are worth it. But when people come in, if they leave thinking that they weren't served, then we didn't do our job. And do we believe that occasionally that happens? Absolutely. But we love when our customers are willing to tell us that we didn't do what we believe we want to be doing or should be doing every single interaction. Because then we know that we can work on it, we can make things better, that we can continue to serve well. So enjoy this. Yeah.
Fantastic. So what we'll do,
Cool.
I think Carl will slide right into it. Just introduce the company, name, phone number, where they can find you, socials. This is your plug.
Love it.
Where they can find you. So
Sweet.
Whenever you're ready.
Yeah, absolutely. So Evan Akers, once again, with Acres and Oak Kitchen, seeking to serve the community and serve Houston County and Bibb County very, very well through the avenues of ultimately the dinner table, getting people back around the dinner table. You can find us on Instagram, Acres and Oak Kitchen. Same plug for Facebook as well. We also have, for those in Macon, we also have other avenues for the bakery, Acres and Oak Kitchen Bakery, for both Instagram and Facebook as well. You can go to our brand new website, acresandoakkitchen.com. to check out all of our recipes, all the acres of giving, all the avenues in which we are trying to serve you well. So thank you.
Well, if anything, it's been an absolute pleasure, man.
Oh man, thank you so
Appreciate
much,
it.
brother. Absolutely.
Awesome.
Blessing.
And cool. Cutscene.